hit go live, but I think now we're live. Yeah. Hey, what's up? I'm Russ from Dapper Dividends. And as I say now, I got a new tagline. We're thinking beyond the dividend. Hey, we're here joined by Harris from One Penny at a Time podcast. Say hello to all the boys and girls, Harris.
Hello to the boys and girls, Harris.
Nice. That's what I love to hear, man. And I'm a little under the weather, but you know what? I'm all hopped up on the Dayquil, as I was telling Harris. And I want to know whether you're watching in replay or you're watching this live, what is something that you do to save money on food, right? Because I know you might be like, I want to hear about the dividend stocks. We will. Just a second, though. Hold your horses because it's so important that we live below our means and everybody has to eat. So if we can save money on something we have to buy every week, because unless you're going to try and starve yourself to save more money to invest in dividend stocks, that might be kind of like lighting your clothes on fire to keep warm. So we don't want to do that. But yeah, I'm going to jump right in. And again, I want to know what you people do. What's your one top tip that you tip? What's your one tip you do to save money on food? So for us, I'm going to lead it off. And I love this ties into something I heard Harris talking about on his podcast. So for me, and do you have Aldi where you're at?
Literally like 7 minutes away.
Nice. So that's been my thing where I go. And if you grew up anywhere in the same time frame I did, now I'm 44, I'm a little bit older, but Aldi was embarrassing. So we were lower middle class. I mean, like lower middle class growing up. And I used to have to go with my mom on Saturdays to Aldi. I wanted to do I hope nobody sees me going in here, because it was like known as like where the poor people shop. But today, like, they've redesigned it. They're a German company. Unfortunately, they're private, because if they were public, I would definitely invest in Aldi. And yeah, so Steven says plan out meals. I got the two Steves here, kind of like the two Bobs from Office Space. We get the two Steves. So yeah, that is one place I love to go. And let us know if you have been to Aldi. And if you're not familiar with Aldi, I pulled up this really cool chart to see where it's at. And depending on y'all's location, you may or may not be able to go here. So as you can see, there is currently 2,257 Aldi locations in the United States. And dude, we go there for food, pretty much produce, meat, and dairy is what we get, all of it at Aldi. And this is linked in the description below if you'd like to check this website, Scrape Hero, out. I just found it. They show, look at, Illinois has the most Aldi stores. Fun fact for your day. And these are the places. Yeah, these are the places that don't have it. So again, if you're not familiar with Aldi, you can do yourself a favor and check this out. And I think they even do. Yeah, it's a really neat little site. I really enjoyed this, and I may use this site for some upcoming videos. And yeah, so before you go run away, let us know. But if you haven't heard of Aldi, I'd love to know if you guys go shopping at Aldi. Where do you shop if you're watching, and what do you do? So with that being said, one thing I do want to say, December 3rd, I came across an article by the crazy coupon lady. So fun fact, two of the ways that Aldi keeps their prices low is that they have quarters. There's a little thing on top of their cart, and you put a quarter in, and you get to take the cart out. So you get your quarter back when you store the cart and you plug the chain into the one next to it. Dude, it is phenomenal because they don't have to pay people to get carts because everyone wants their quarter back. And then you also bag your own stuff. They don't have bags. You can pick up their boxes. They have boxes all around the store. So it's kind of a fun little thing that we do. And yeah, Kelly, dude, I completely forgot to mention this. Fetch. Do you use Fetch, Harris?
I've heard of Rakuten, but I've never heard of Fetch before.
Yeah, so Fetch is really easy. We use Fetch. It's an app on your phone, because I don't know where else you're putting an app on, but you just take a picture of your receipt, and then you can tie it into also, I believe, Target, right, Kelly? To Target and Walmart orders, maybe Amazon for sure. But you get gift cards, you get points, your points accumulate, and it's a really cool thing to get extra money. But yeah, so Well, oh, that was what I was saying about Aldi. Crazy Coupon Lady. I have a link down there in the description. Not down. That looked weird, didn't it? That looked a link in the description below. And it's not going to be that kind of show, I don't think. And we, I'd have lost my train of thought. You see what I do here?
Well, let's just hope that the famous bots don't come into the stream today.
I blocked them, dude. I blocked them. And anyway, so it's candle. I think December 3rd is National Candle Day. And Aldi, my wife informed me though that they have no candles under $4.95. They're 3-wick candles. If you have a special lady in your life, or maybe you're a candle snob, as I say that I got a candle burning in the background here. What's it? Bath and Body Works.
Body Works.
I was just smashing 2 stores together. Bed Bath and Body Works. Somebody's gonna be looking for that, but they're having their sale, and I hear it's it's the bee's knees. It's where you got to get there at 5 a.m. to get these candles. But Aldi, all our candles come from Aldi. So that's my little thing about Aldi. If you haven't tried an Aldi, do it. You'll save yourself some money, and you can, dude. Here's how you become wealthy. Here's the big secret to becoming wealthy. Spend less than you earn and invest the rest, and you'll be wealthy doing that over many years. And it's not a get rich quick thing. So that's what we do. But Harris, now I've jabber-jawed on for, I don't know how, 6 minutes and 39 seconds, too long, but I enjoyed hearing you talk on your podcast about Costco with Fernando. Was it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you talked about Costco. I really enjoyed that. I guess I'm a nerd. I'm a goof, but tell us a little bit about what you love at Costco.
With Costco, obviously, paper towels and toilet paper is always our number one to go to. Gas, even not obviously. I'd hope you don't eat gas because that would be very bad, but it is a money saving tip. Also, there's certain things like in blocks that we can get. One of our favorite things to get at Costco is actually their broccoli heads and their Caesar salad. It's a bigger bag. It is a little bit more expensive compared to our normal supermarket, but you're getting good quality and you're getting a good amount of quantity. So if you can spread those out through a couple meals, then it averages out and makes it really good. So that's been really good for that. Some other tips that I have is before going grocery shopping, just like how you do when you're going to plan out your buys for the week in the market, same thing. So like where we live, we have Aldi, Target, and then our supermarket, which is HEB, which is a private company. If that was ever to go public, I would invest in a heartbeat, all within the same road. So if you really plan it out and you see what kind of deals they have, or then you kind of compare some things to Amazon. I know at Amazon, some things aren't the best to buy, but if something is around the same price, we have also the JP Morgan Amazon Prime card, which gets 5% back. So if you kind of coordinate those and then you add that up, it makes more sense. Sometimes with Target, one of the most expensive things is detergents and all this cleaning products. Target will then throw out a deal where it's like, oh, if you buy $30 worth of this, you get a $5 or a $10 gift card back. So it's trying to get creative with little things like that adds either more money back to your pocket. It's like, oh, we can use this $10 gift card to put this towards this, and you get creative with it because that's the big thing. And then with HEB, through their app, we scroll through the coupons. It has a list of like all the coupons on there, and obviously you don't want to just start picking, oh, this is on sale, I should totally pick this up. But if it's something like, hey, this is an everyday item, it's just doing a little bit of preparation ahead of time and sticking to your list. Don't get sidetracked. It's really easy to get sidetracked at the grocery store, especially when you're hungry. Don't go when you're hungry. Another tip. So it's just a little bit of preparation. You stay on budget, hopefully below budget, because then that creates more money there. But then I think so one of the Steves had said it there. It's Steve Bishop. Plan out your meals. Planning everything out we do it every 2 weeks. So, sticking to that plan. And that's definitely the way to do it. Eating out, especially nowadays, is really, really, really pricey. So that's just the way to kind of put your dollar back into the bank account or into your dividend account.
I love it, dude. And it's funny. I just wanted to do this really quick. And I'm so happy some of you has chipped in some of what you do, especially Kelly with going to Dollar General with $5 coupons for Saturday. Man, I love it. And I know it's not the most interesting thing to talk about, but it really is something that reflects in our net worth because we save more money and I invest that money. And well, if you saw my last video, I'm sitting on a little bit of cash right now. But one thing I love that you said is like they had live or no, they don't have, that's Costco probably in another country. They don't have live chickens in Costco. They had the chickens, right?
The rotisserie chickens at the very back of the store.
And you said you got to walk to the back of it. They force you to walk through the whole store past all the deals. I love it. So,
and not only that, they purposely rearrange everything so it's never the same. So that way, you already know. Oh, last time this was all here, and you look, it changes. It's all strategic. Their strategy team is really, really good, which is why Costco is the price it's at right now. I mean, you're paying for a premium on that stock, but it's just such a well-run company.
I know. It's never cheap. It never is cheap.
Nope.
And actually, I'll get to you guys in a second. I want to see what the intrinsic value for Costco is on Alpha Spread. We'll do this quick. I've been using Alpha Spread. I like it, man. It's, I'm not a big intrinsic value guy, but here, actually, share this one first. So Costco stores, because this will tie into being a dividend stock, only 585 locations in the US. I was a little surprised at that, but check it out. The one number, look at that, 134 in California, followed up by your Texas with 36 of them. So you're helping support one of those. And
also that one less than 10 minutes away.
Yeah, the little blue dot map. Also, this is linked in the description below if you want to check out this Scrape Hero, which I'm going to look around the site more. I found it pretty recently. And then let's see. So stop sharing that. And then I want to share with you guys, get an intrinsic value on good old Costco, which we will go here, right here. So the intrinsic value, let me change it here. What do we got? Best Buy up there. We were talking about BBY earlier. Costco. Come on, click it. There we go. So $384.90 base case. Remember, this is for the next 5 years if everything pretty much remains equal. The base getting about 28% over valuation, and their worst case is 310. So it shows you how strong of a company they are in that regard. But the current price is what, $533.66. So yeah, it's got a bit of a ways to go. And
when Costco dipped to 450, that essentially was the dip for Costco, I think, for this year.
Hey, it's crazy. We're going to see what happens. I still think that there's going to be another leg down. Right? I mean, doesn't it have to factor in? Because, dude, the Fed don't fight the Fed. They're trying to break the economy. We're seeing more companies lay people off. People are going to be spending less. And if people are spending less, that's going to affect earnings. So, but I think it's so funny. Everyone's already looking past the recession that everybody knows we're in, but it hasn't been named yet.
Yeah.
I was listening to Jim Chanos, the investor Jim Chanos, on the Odd Lots podcast, and he said that if this was the market bottom, it would be the most expensive market bottom in financial history. So I'm not alone, I think, but nobody knows what's going to happen. So I think there's definitely going to be more, I think there's going to be more leg down.
Yeah. I mean, I know Google just announced, I think, 10,000 cuts coming soon, but then I forgot the source of this article. I forgot what the metric was, but I think this last Black Friday, there was no slowing in sales. It actually was way higher than expected. So people are spending money still.
Yeah, online was, because I'm a nerd for it. I was looking at the NRF, the National Retail Foundation, and I think they said that foot traffic was down a little bit, but I don't know, but that people might be selling more anyway. Yeah, so here we go. I want to get what people are buying here. Let's see. Yeah, MDT. So who's that? Steve only bought MDT. I bought one share in the Roth just because it had some poor earnings. And funny enough, I just watched European Dividend Growth Investor did a really awesome analysis of Medtronic and gave fair valuation at the end what he thinks it is. And yeah, I think low, like right around 70, high 60s is when I would really start buying big there. Jesus. SGU. Do you know what SGU is off the top of your head? I don't.
I don't.
Star Group. Star Group. Interesting. Heating and air conditioning products. Hey, this is a stock I'm completely unfamiliar with, is Star Group. We could take a peek at it. Let me see. Here, you'll get my initial reaction here to it, my quick reaction. Let's see. I wish I had a quicker way to share this thing. I'll just share the whole window. Here, come on. Watch me do this. Bing. Fast. So Star Group, 50, borderline safe. I'm going to guess that they probably have a high free cash flow payout ratio or earnings per share. Yikes. Look at that. Unless they had a spinoff or something, which I don't know, but they had a pretty significant dividend cut there in the early part of the century. So let me see. 9 years dividend growth. Star Group. HVAC is interesting. I know Lennox is in that, and A.O. Smith does water heaters. Let's see. Anyway, 31%. Yeah, that's a huge yield. Oh my God, they're only $8 a share. They're almost a penny stock. $5 a share is a penny stock, by the way. Yeah, this is why it's so unsafe, because their free cash flow is currently negative. So, well, I will say this: if they did have nice sales growth there, if that free cash flow doesn't change quick, 38 million shares outstanding, not a lot, but they're going to cut that dividend if that free cash flow per share does not. Their debt's been creeping up a little bit. They're going to either have to cover that dividend with debt, or they're going to have to cut it. One of the two. I mean, or their earnings is going to have to recover. Interesting. I don't think I would invest in that. I'm not saying you're wrong, Brian. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying me personally. Interesting. Zero coupon T-bills, something I'm not very familiar with. Eric, what's up, Eric? What's going on, man? He's still buying SCHD. Yeah, I actually am thinking about optioning SCHD. So, I said I did the Starbucks video, and you guys that know options can see that if I would have just bought at 80 and held and did nothing, I would be way further ahead, like $1,200. But yeah, Tyson Foods and GLW. I can't remember that off the top of my head. Oh, Dow Corning, right?
I believe so. SCHG, I regret not buying more at 69 and 70.
I said Dow Corning. It's just Corning. Yeah, they split off from Dow. Yeah, dude. So we have our daughters. I set up a wedding fund for them earlier in the year, and I'm doing $100 a month, so $50 for each kid. And I'm putting it into SCHD and DIVO. And it's going to be interesting. So when times come for them to get married, whatever it's at, I'll divide it in half. And then that's, what, not all they get, but it'll be at least something toward it. And yeah, man, I was buying SCHD at what was it? Low 60s or high 60s, right?
High 60s. It was staying at that 72, 73 for a while. And then it dipped to 69. But right now it's kind of, I was wanting to do a one SCHD every deposit. And then right now it's kind of, I can't get myself to do that right now. So I'm going to wait to see if that pulls back to pick it up. So what I've been doing is that I've been spreading a lot of my money across my non-SCHD ETF. So that way I'm just kind of doing a little bit of a spread, but I'm kind of up a decent amount of SCHD right now. So,
Yeah, it's funny. I don't see Casey in the chat, Caitlin, Kate, but we're emailing back and forth, and she pointed out, and I didn't know this, that SCHD rebalanced, I think 2018-ish, into a lot of financials. They added a bunch of financials, which gave them a huge boost for their performance. So that's something I literally just, again, I was in a NyQuil haze going through some emails before I went to bed, and I'm really going to have to dig into that and chew on it, because that will be a video coming forward, because that's important. Because if they rebalance again, it could have some definite effect going there. And hey, check this out. Let's see if I can do this, dude. Steven, dude, this is fantastic. And I want to say,
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Dude, Eddie Murphy Raw. Did you ever see that? Have you ever watched?
Yes, I have. When I was younger, I used to watch a lot of his movies and like stand up and whatnot. So it's good stuff.
Dude, that's so nice, Steven. I always say, hey, if you guys feel the need that you have to give me money, I'll take it. But I would much rather see you invest that in yourselves, in your families. You know, this is just a hobby I'm doing. I mean, I don't know if it'll ever be a full-time thing. I'm not even thinking of that. I have too much going on, but I really enjoy making the content, hanging out with people like Harris and Ryan and everyone else I talk to. I did an interview with Marcus, trading with a dummy, got to meet him.
He's actually here right now.
Is he here? Oh
Yeah.
my God, dude, look at that. I must have been subliminal. What's up, Marcus? Hey, I could send you a link if you want to jump on. I don't care, you know. Let me do this first, though. Hold on that thought. I want to get through Ben. Off the top of my head, I don't know what Ben is, but we will go through the little quick analysis here as I share my screen. I wish I could play music for this time when I'm firing this up. It's Chrome tab. No, I want the entire screen. I'm not that advanced yet, people. There we go. All right, let's go, Ben. So we'll see if, Franklin Resources. So it is an asset management and custody, I almost said custody bank, 4.33% yield. So Simply Safe gives their opinion of a safety score of 70. And hey, how are we looking on this screen here? Oh, let's do this. Sorry, here. Let me change it to that. Now, is that a little better? Let me hide this. I want you guys to be able to see it. Oh, this looks terrible. Look at, now this is what we're talking about with the here we go. The fumbling, the stumbling, the bumbling. All right. I think I got that. I'm going to do this for you, Steven. You don't need to look at our mugs for a minute here while I go through this with you. Yeah. Okay. That was a little bit yucky behind the scenes. All right. I don't, let's see, they're founded in 1947. We won't go through all that. I'll just go on the metrics. And again, this is just really quick. I mean, if you truly want to understand a company, you need to read through the annual report to get a super good feel for the company. So this is all just a very quick opinion. Actually, this is what I would do to see if I do want to invest in a company. So 20% CAGR, 13% 20-year CAGR. That's very fast. Nice. Not a huge increase, which was December of 2021. So they're just about due for another increase. 42-year dividend growth streak. So they're a dividend aristocrat coming up on the kingdom. And we do see they've been going about a penny a year. So I would assume they're going to go 30 cents a share, probably announced really soon here, $1.16. And let me look at this. The dividend yield is currently 17% above the 5-year average. Okay, not bad. Forward PE is a little bit higher than normal, only $26 a share. And for banks, it is easier or better to look at earnings per share payout or earnings payout ratio for the payout ratio, only 48%. Let's see. That's nice. Yeah, I don't know. Free cash flow per share, 382. Earnings per share, 244. Came down a little bit. Sales growth is negative. That should be a little bit better. And let me see. Yeah, they're buying back shares still. 489 million outstanding. Sales have been coming down just a little bit. $8.28 billion. Not bad. This is a little bit of a bugaboo. Return on invested capital should be a little bit higher. And yeah, so with financial institutions, it should be obviously a Simply Safe here. It shows above 25% is what they like. I think high teens to about 20% would be good. So just in my opinion, that should be a little bit, negative free cash flow margin. It's okay. They, because they're a bank, but I don't know. In that regard, I would say I'd need to do a lot more digging to see why their free cash flow per share is, where was it? Where'd it go? Oh my God. Sorry if I'm making you all sick here. Yeah. Free cash flow per share, but what did I see? It was negative. Their sales growth is negative. So yeah, I'd need to see what's going on with that but it had been negative since.
And then it had a spike up in 21. So I don't know. It's like too much of a roller coaster there, I feel like, for at least on the sales growth side of it.
And then let's just see what they give an intrinsic value. I would need to understand much more about this. There we go. All right, guys, we'll just do this and then come on, internet. You can do it. It's like an old man, like, give me a second. $26.55. So it's about fairly valued. Remember, I'll tell you guys in a second about that. Low worst case 22.62. So yeah, not too bad, man. I think now if you're confident in the company, it looks like a really good time to keep adding that to adding old Franklin resources. And again, with the intrinsic value, all you need to know is that there is no exact number. It's like knowing that somebody needs to lose weight without knowing exactly how much they weigh. So it's kind of the same way with intrinsic valuation. It's just a ballpark. So don't get too caught up when you see like to the penny, because that will change. And let me see, just caught up on a couple of these here. So yeah, thank you. By the way, Stephen, thank you very much for that. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, and Kelly even said she thinks the market has another hard hit coming. I think so. Like they say, don't fight the Fed. Everyone's excited that they're going to pivot, but I mean, what if their terminal rate's still like 5.5%? Like that's pretty stout, and that's going to ripple through to the three economy. Oh, $53 trek. We were talking earlier about just a fun little conversation, how to save money on food. And I have not used Rakuten. I've seen the commercials, but I've never used it. $53 check. Nice. Oh, and I do use Upside. It's not in every state. The Upside app, every week I'm getting like $20 because I drive around a lot for work. So
yeah, I actually use Upside as well.
Do you? Nice. Yeah, it's really awesome for me.
The only thing you got to watch out with like Upside. So for me, what I do is that I use my credit card that has the best gas return on it, and I stack it with that. But sometimes the gas stations that have the deal, even with the discounted price, I can get it cheaper at Costco. So that's just one thing I have to look out and average out and see what makes more sense.
Yeah, so interesting. And she said she's thinking about SACH, which is Sachem Capital. I don't know how to say it. Almost a 14% yield. And they have a dividend safety score of 30, which is unsafe. And I've never dug into this company. So that would be one that if anybody knows anything about it, let us know. Yeah. Me too, Kelly. Us too. As dividend investors, dude, I want another chance. I feel like I didn't get to buy enough while it was down. So I'm hoping. Yeah, that's Marcus, by the way. He's out. Dude, that was fun. Really interesting story. I put it on the podcast, my interview with Marcus. And Frizz. What's up, Frizz? Fizz. Fice? How do you say that? Come on, Harris. Quick. Chop.
Fizz. Just going Fizz.
Fizz Christen, I think is what I said. I don't know why it turned Scottish because it was supposed to have been German. It sounds German to me. Yeah, next time for sure. Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. I can fire off links to anybody. Get any homeless guy off the street here to chat. They got interesting stories, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, Steven said Franklin has a C. Market Beat says hold. Interesting. Yeah, so your take on medical property trust, that's MPW, right? Mm-hmm. We've talked about them before, and I didn't like it because I know they had been losing or not. No, what was it? There was something going on with one of their properties. I can find it in a minute here. Hey, KC showed up. What's up? Any believes margins earnings will reverse. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, their 10-year numbers look sickly. Right. That's kind of what Harris and I saw too. Is just, I will say this, and I don't know what you do, but for me, like what I just went through right there is what I look at just to see if I want to dig in. Like KC, I'll put it in the comment here, shared one with me that I've been digging into, was Nexstar and ticker NXST. And that's one of her high conviction stocks. And yeah, I mean, I run through all the battery of everything and I'm like, dude, this looks really good. It looked like it's fairly valued or actually undervalued, excuse me. It looks like the base case is undervalued. And I picked up a few shares to keep an eye on it because when I buy something, then and we talked about this. I don't know if you do this, but like with Nexstar, it looked really good to me, and it looked like it was at a good value. So I picked up 2 shares, just 2 little shares. And what I do is that really keeps me interested because I'm now invested, and I do dig. Sorry, it's NyQuil or Dayquil brain here. I will dig deeper because I am invested. And if I still like what I see, I'll buy more. And if not, then I'll just, I'll let those 2 shares go back, throw them back into the water. But
yeah, I've done that before too, where it's like, you say, you buy a share and then just, see how it moves for like a month or 2, and just kind of then, kind of add some more layers of complexity where you're like doing research on top of it. Kind of the same thing. When I have skin in the game, it's like, okay, it just gets you more interested. The one that I've told you this before, I have it on my watch. I think it's overvalued right now, and I'd be really curious to see if you can pull up the value on that.
yeah,
It's WWE, and it's the one where I keep my eye on it, and I think I know the numbers are looking really good right now, but I really feel like that it's overvalued right now.
yeah. Let me see. Here we go. Did you watch Mr. Rogers ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember when he would go to the land of make believe?
Yeah.
They would have like the xylophone music playing. That's what I need. I hear that in my head. Nobody else can hear that.
Yeah. I mean, with like WWE, and I know it's like really a stock that pays a measly dividend, but it's just one of those things where I understand the business and how they make money, and it's a business I fully understand. Fun fact, I actually used to live literally a street away from their development center back in Orlando, and I used to get to hang out with some of like the development wrestlers and referees. So always good conversations. Like I said, I know the dividend growth is like nothing. It's more of like it's at 80, it's over 80 now. Crap. I was saying that like 75, it was overvalued. Now it's gone up even more. Marcus wrote in the comment there, he wants WWE so bad. I used to have WWE back in 2018, and I bought this on the rumor that Fox was going to do Friday Night SmackDown, and I was right on that, kind of like that prediction there for it, but I have not gotten it back ever since. Hey, Russ, you're muted.
All right. There we go. Why was I muted? Jesus, good God almighty. All right, let me share this again. Do over. Hey, it wouldn't be a Dapper Dividends live stream without something goofy, crazy going on, right?
Yeah.
So now we got that out of the way. I feel like we're all good to go here. Let me just do the entire screen. I wonder why I must have hit something. Okay, here we go. You can hear me, right? You got me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, good. There we go. So back to WWE. They're unrated by Simply Save Dividends. And if you're just joining us, this is what I'm using. They were founded in 1980. Okay, now I'm back to where we were. Dividend growth. Looks like they had a bit of a cut there. A few cuts, actually.
That was when the product was really, really, really bad.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember hearing much about them, but they had been growing it. I didn't follow this at all.
Yep.
The dividend's been frozen since 2012, it looks like. So it's been a frozen dividend, which isn't necessarily bad. Hey, look, ex-dividend date is 17 days away, so December 14th. You want to get in on the next dividend. Free cash flow has payout ratio only 23%. Oh, look at that's why they cut. It was 123%. So that ties in with what you were saying. But yeah, look at that, man. It was still 112, 113.
Yep. So big period. And this is why I can actually talk to this for those who don't watch wrestling. And I said, I don't expect everybody to know about this. From 2012 to 2016, there's a couple things happening. In 2012, the product was really bad. They spent a lot of money doing like these live show tours where they weren't profitable. But Vince McMahon we need to do a road tour 300 days of the year. I don't care. I need this product out there. But then in 2014 and 15, actually 2013 to 2014, they had their NXT brand, which was their developmental. So they started signing a lot of the people who are in like other companies and like developmental. So they started spending a lot of money and getting a lot of people under contract. And then Japan, as a company named New Japan, started actually gaining a lot of traffic in the West. And then they started signing some of their big stars like AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, and started spending a lot of money. And they were spending a lot of money, and Vince McMahon was flopping on like the development of a lot of these people. Now that this is the first year without him, now that Triple H and Stephanie are running the company, there's a lot of change coming on, and it's something that's going to take a couple of years, but they're heading in the right direction for that, as far as like, working on the product.
That's really interesting. So it's like you're seeing something that is not reflected in the numbers yet because it's changing. It's their model. Well, I don't know if their model's changing, but yeah, like what you said, 13, 14, their sales 5, 7, 21, they pulled back a little bit, and obviously in COVID 2020, but yeah, now I mean, look at 24% sales growth last 12 months. That's
2020. They actually made a lot of budget cuts to make this work during that pandemic era, which they actually did really good for that. But the last 12 months, they have competition now, and that's why they're really like getting really creative with the product. And
the only thing though, keep an eye on that. Their shares outstanding. They do dilute shareholders a little bit. They bought some back though in 2020, but yeah, they've not many. 2020 they went from 84.2 to currently 86 million shares right now. So there is some share dilution going on, but I would need to know exactly what they're using that money for.
I wouldn't be surprised if that a part of that is obviously they had to hire a bunch of new executives because of Vince McMahon having to step down due to all the misconduct. And maybe there's some compensation there for that.
Yeah, so that's something I would definitely want to know before investing. And let's see, they give an intrinsic value of $63 currently in the base case, so about 22% overvalued.
Really overvalued.
Yeah, and then $49. So honestly, if you believe in the company and you see it get to 65, 68, something like that, that might be close enough.
Yeah. Can you actually go to Kate's most recent comment here, and I can actually kind of answer to that?
Oh, yeah, I didn't. All right, let me stop sharing this, everybody. Hold on, everybody. Let's see. There. Now, how much penetration WWE has in Gen Z?
This is the stuff that you're not going to hear Warren Buffett talk about, but I'm going to give you my take. Obviously, the late 90s was the boom. That was the crypto boom. That's the way I'm going to put it. They were averaging about 5 million, like I think 4 to 5 million viewers per episode. Now, if you get to that 1 to 2 million range, that's the good thing. What actually drives a lot of sales for this, and it's kind of like the concept of like, I'm going to use video games as an attachment to this. This is like the first generation, like I'm 30, where when we start having kids, we pass down a lot of the things that we love into our kids, or like sharing that bond. WWE, the one thing where they make a lot of their money, obviously, other than like the big pay-per-views, it's through merch. They make so much money through merch. They make their own merch. It's not outsourced. Everything's in house.
Hold on. Hold that thought real quick. Look at this. We got breaking news. My wife just got back from Aldi, and she's got half price chicken. And what else?
The candle.
Oh, that ain't gonna show up. This is my
I saw it.
thing.
I can see the candle.
It's a 3-wick candle. Nice. Smells like a strip club from what I remember back in my Navy days. Nice. Thank you for that, wife update. All right, guys.
Yep.
So back to your thought on WWE and Gen Z.
Obviously, right now, like I said, it's nowhere. It's never going to be near the late 90s again. That was a big boom. It was a different time. Every teenager was getting suspended for doing the DX sucket in school, back in the day. But right now,
do you think they can do something like that again? Do you think they're planning to try and get WWE back out, like that huge with?
So the closest thing in the last decade, and it didn't happen in WWE, it happened in Japan. It's called the Bullet Club, And what the Bullet Club is, it's pretty much the closest thing that any stable, which for those who don't know, a stable is like a group in wrestling, to get close to what NWO was. It's actually still going. Normally with wrestling, a stable lasts anywhere between 6 months to a year and a half because they like to refresh things. This stable has been around for a decade, which is like, and they actually built off a really good brand off of that. So in 2015 to 2018, there was so much Bullet Club merch going around where WWE was literally, if they started seeing people wear Bullet Club merch to their shows, they were trying to get people to not wear it because it was taking over. And then Vince McMahon saw, what's this Bullet Club? Why is there all these people wearing Bullet Club? Why don't we own this? They tried to buy out every single person there. They got offered 7-figure contracts per year. They all said no because they refused to work for him.
Really? Wow.
So what they did, and this is the fun part, it's 4 people. It's Kenny Omega. I said I don't expect anybody to know this stuff, but it's okay. Maybe Marcus, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson, and Cody Rhodes. They started AEW under Ted Turner. They literally wanted to make their own show to compete against WWE, and then for them to do whatever they want. Now, when you have 4 bros run a show, there's always going to be some type of argument. Cody, who is the son of famous old Dusty Rhodes, son of a plumber, there was so much things going on in the background, and the person who technically owns AEW is Tony Khan. Nick Khan's one of the new CEOs of WWE. Tony Khan, who his dad owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, is a big oil owner, like oil guy. Yeah. They had such a rift that Cody literally broke his rule saying, I'll never go work for Vince McMahon, got offered about, I think like 5.5 or 6 million a year, and then full control of his character, where he had all of the copyrights to it, and they allowed him to have all his copyrights come over. WWE normally doesn't. They copyright everything on their own. They allowed his copyright to come over, and they gave him full executive control over a documentary they're doing for Dusty Rhodes. So they're giving him a lot of creative control, which is a big thing they don't do.
Well, that's interesting, man. And, it's like, it gave me an idea, and I wrote it down, is that whether you like wrestling or not, I got out of wrestling when I was a kid, then it's still an entertainment business. And there's a lot of entertainment stocks. I saw some hubbub about, I don't know if we have any football fans, not American football, world football, Manchester United, which they do pay a small dividend. I think they might be getting acquired, or there was something about a buyout. I literally didn't even know that they were a publicly traded company until a couple days ago. I just happened to catch them in some of my news blurbs. But
yeah, the Atlanta Braves are actually about to become a publicly traded company, baseball team.
Yeah, and there's a few, and like I cover that in Comcast, and it's not how do you say it? It's not 100%. So if you wanted to buy the Philadelphia Flyers, you're buying Comcast stock because they own the Philadelphia Flyers. But it's just interesting that there's some publicly traded sports teams, and I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting thing, and that's something I might I don't know. I might that would be an interesting life. I don't know. There's something there. I'm going to think about it.
I definitely need to apologize. You definitely sidetracked on that. I got lost in the sauce in the wrestling, so I apologize to anybody.
It's a passion, dude. It's fine. And it's something that I don't have any insight to at all whatsoever. Like I said, for me, wrestling stopped with Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Ultimate Warrior. And,
that's the late 80s.
Late 80s. I used to have the LJN figures, Junkyard Dog. Like for me, dude, I don't know what era of wrestling is the late 80s considered. Does that have a name like the gold? That's not the golden era. That's
not necessarily for that. It's just wrestling. There's not a specific name for it.
Just wrestling. Good enough. That was my era. Yeah, Kelly, nice. I want to get to that. She has 15 MPWs. Yeah, she's happy with so far. There was something about that. Yeah, I don't know. I remember. I'd have to look it up. It was on Seeking Alpha that they had a tenant that was closing properties. If anyone remembers, yeah, let's see. There we go. This is my wife put that in there. Aldi has 3-wick candles for $4.98 and chicken leg quarters for half off. That was breaking news that we got introduced to. So there you go. looks like we're eating chicken tonight, everybody. I would invite you all over, but you can see
Mhm.
I don't think we have enough to cover that. But there we go. Yeah, golden and late 90s attitude. Nice. Well, I don't know. So what else? What have you cut your position in VFC, right? In VF Corp?
Yep, I did.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
why did you do any?
Yep. So for me, I'm a big person where I invest into something. Um, at least 85% of my portfolio, it has to be something I use in my everyday life or
Mhm.
kind of have that a part of me. I like wait, hold on here. Let me flip my hat. VFC.
Nice.
I literally can't tell you how much van stuff we have in this household. So it's, I'm passionate about their clothing line and stuff, but the big thing for me, it's like obviously the dividend is attractive. It's almost a dividend king, but the
Mhm.
sales growth is very stagnant. And the big thing for me that I worry about is that this is not going to do good in a recession like this. It's not an everyday need that you need for this.
Yeah, and I don't remember. Casey had some insights to it, but their free cash flow payout ratio, because their free cash flow per share dropped to negative 41 cents the last 12 months. So it's definitely it's definitely going to put some strain on that dividend, I think.
Mhm.
But
They did do
it's
they did do the penny increase in October.
yeah, they're still buying back shares slowly. Down to 389 million. And yeah, return on invested capital, you can see that since 2014 has pretty much been dropping. And I think we talked about it on Twitter. I was telling you one thing I look for is at least total sales. That's been flat. I mean, it's just been, look at that. It was 11.4 billion in 2013, 11.8 billion last 12 months. So that's something that definitely worries me, is that the total sales are flat, even though they're buying back shares. So that's it's a concern. And their
And
net debt is
and
68%.
we talked about this. I went back and forth. It's like, okay, it's like I love the company, and they have other good brands other than Vans. They have Dickies, they got Supreme, they got I don't really, I personally don't use all those other brands, but they're popular brands. But you know, I- when I started doing this portfolio, I wanted 30 holdings. Now it's like I'm at 20, and I feel so much better having less.
Yeah. Yeah, and their their yield is 141% above the 5-year average. So uh yeah, and I told Harris, I was like, honestly, I think they're going to be down here for a while. And let me see the intrinsic value on them. I think
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah,
what
I
they
remember
give.
last year at one point it was like at 72, and now it actually
Yeah.
recently had a little bit of a come up. It was like a 25, and it's like a 33 or 34 right now, I think.
Yeah, see, now this is interesting. They give a base case of $56, but we might have to go worst case, which they still give 42. So again, this is nobody knows the future. We can't predict what's going to happen. So if you
Mm.
are confident in VFC, then now would be a good time to buy and hold. But I think it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride for a while. Here,
So
yeah, there it is.
instead of buying the stock, I'm just gonna go ahead and just get a hat, get some sneakers, and support them that way.
Yeah, so it just basically sounds like Casey's saying it's a management issue
Hmm.
that they didn't do
Yeah,
very well. And
yeah,
again, yeah, management can
ruin.
definitely destroy shareholder value.
I mean, Disney.
Look at AT&T.
Look at Disney, but now that they just went back to the old CEO.
Yeah, they just went back to Bob Iger, which is funny because I think it was just in June that they gave Bob Chapek like a 6-month extension. And, hey, good for him. He's making bank with that. But
Passive
yeah, that's
income.
yeah. Oh, look at Marcus on GPC, Genuine Parts. Dude, I own Genuine Parts. I think they're
Mhm.
definitely going to be a solid. Oh, by the way, KC, if you're watching, I don't think you were on. I mentioned about I paraphrased how you said that SCHD, right?
Mhm.
Rebalanced into financials. They what did they do? They added. I don't remember how you said it. If you
Mhm.
missed it, I've been sick. I got the Dayquil going. I had the Nyquil going last night. I'm in a bit of a haze here, but yeah,
Yeah.
they added financials. They rebalanced with financials, I think.
Yeah. So to
And
kind of go off to Steve and Kelly are having a chat here about Steve's kind of concerned about about the thoughts about adding SCHD because it's getting expensive. Kelly's talking about there about you know obviously SCHD is probably either the first or the second most talked ETF fund like through these platforms.
Yeah, it's everybody, and I did it, but I here for Marcus real quick. GPC dividend safety score of 72. They're just a solid company. I think that, everybody's keeping their cars around longer. 65-year dividend growth streak. They're not crushing it, but they did 9.8% in February, so that was kind of nice. Let's see, when do they go X? December 1st, 4 days away. They're going to be included in my email tonight of companies that are going ex-dividend next week. So definitely if you wanted to pick up some more. But the timeliness, though, I mean, it's, dividend yields 34% below the 5. So I wouldn't here because, dude, check that out. They are buried at the high end of the 52-week range. And, look at this. I just looked at my phone. We're covering some of these. Here, let me do this. Let me hide your comment. There we go. Drop us down. And anyway, so yeah, they look a little bit overvalued right now, but I do think what I liked about them is that, free cash flow payout ratio, only 44%. Solid company, but they're just almost always overvalued, and they are buying. See, this is what I like to see that VFC didn't. They've been consistently buying back shares, about 1 million shares a year, and they've been going up and to the right. Although I will say that when stock prices are low, that's when management should really be buying shares back a lot. So that's something just people should look for when that share price is in the dumps. So VFC should be buying back quite a bit of shares right now. Yeah. And
especially so GFC changes with the tax laws that are going to go into place next year.
Did I say GFC? I meant GPC. What's GFC? That's Gordon Food Service, right? Or that's GFS. What's GFC? I don't know. Great financial collapse is what that is. Yeah, and to finish up your guys' point, dude, everybody's pumping SCHD. But if I did it differently, at least. I pointed out that SCHD has no exposure to real estate or utilities. So, hey, what has two thumbs and gets a little bit of props, this guy for not blindly following everybody. And that's what you probably will see from me is that I'll still do things that everybody's looking for. But I was talking about this with KC. I'm really trying to develop into being not contrarian, but almost a non-consensus investor. Rupal Bansali is a fund manager here in Chicago. Really cool chick. And she wrote a book called Non-Consensus Investing, Indian woman. I enjoyed it. Really good read. And she didn't go too terrible into the details of how she does it, because I guess that would be giving the secret sauce away. But I do like that of formulating your own opinion, like Caitlin's done with Franchise Group, FRG. I really like that. She said she doesn't think hype is relevant for an ETF because it's always going to trade roughly in line with the net asset value. And then let's see. Arbitraging SPY if hype mattered. I love Casey's comments. Really cool stuff.
No, for sure. Very in depth.
Yeah. And he just, by the way, I want to point out, Harris just said no for sure, because that's what I've been digging on him. I had to. So I listened to his podcast, and after somebody finished a thought, he would say no for sure. And I only laughed because I so totally did that when I was listening back to my podcast with me saying so. And then basically, and I would always say basically, which that's why I turned it into the guy was in. Anyway, so she thinks SCHD is approaching all-time highs because the underlying stocks are climbing, right? And
I mean, SCHD's 5-year performance is really good, though. It's like 60% right now, I believe, off the top of my head.
Yeah, and there's Steven. I like it. Yeah, value won't outperform growth. I think we're in a new regime. I think that value is definitely going to outperform growth, especially while rates are high. And we still haven't seen a lot of companies that have been surviving on that cheap credit fold yet. I mean, this has been right. I mean, when the Fed keeps those interest rates low, like that's the lifeblood of all these story stocks and companies that have not started being profitable yet. And which is why companies that are producing real world products that are here and now, like not in the future, that haven't come to fruition yet. I think that's why they're going to be important in the next couple of years. And companies with good balance sheets, that, like I said, they're actually making profits. So here, let's see what
the whole 2020 to 2021 about the whole future. Like that was the big thing. Now it's like, no, screw the future. What about the now?
Exactly. Yeah. Got a few more minutes here. We'll just wrap up here. Let's see. She's talking. I don't know how to do that. I have to put at somebody. I wish I could just click their name and then hit reply to them. But let's see. Yeah, they're just going back and forth. But I'm thinking of optioning SCHD, of course. But you know what's going to happen if I were to just buy the 100 shares. The next day, the share price is going to tank. So, and then I won't. Then I'll be stuck with it not being able to sell covered calls. But at least it's got all the stocks that I do love to hold. Mostly doesn't have realty income, which
You got Pepsi.
I guess all they do have Pepsi. So interesting. I mean, if you guys are watching, it was a fun one. It was interesting. Obviously, everybody wants to know what stocks to buy, what's undervalued, and those videos will come too. But I don't know. I just want to do something a little bit different. And here, this is what I wanted to say. SCHD reconstitutes every year, and you don't hear anybody talk about this. Why? Because you actually have to dig deep, and that's what's really cool about Casey. Is she does a lot of deep digging, and a lot of people, and I feel it too, like trying to get those videos out. You're just kind of skimming sometimes, and because doing deep dives, dude, it takes a lot longer to do. All of their outperformance stems from one key reconstitution in 2020 that pivoted them into financials at the perfect time. So, they reconstitute via pure algorithm. So that's something that's definitely going to be interesting to watch going forward. And a lot of banks too. That Kagger, I think she's pointing out if that's true, because correct me if I'm wrong, weren't the financial institutions, they had that lifted where they had a moratorium on, right? It was like buybacks and dividends.
Yes.
So they couldn't grow their dividends. So I think right around that time is when all the banks really were able to start increasing those dividends again. Because let me do one last thing here before we get out here. And I want to show you a JPM because this is something that I think illustrates it pretty well. Is that you can see from their dividend.
Yeah, I remember people talking about this year. It's like, I think they were supposed to do some type of raise and they didn't this year. I forgot what it was. There was like something that I talked about there.
Yeah, so in July of 2021, JPM increased their dividend, and you can see it had been flat, and it was flat for, this shows it. See, this doesn't really show it though. They had cut, but I don't know. This chart doesn't line up. Anyway, it's a little bit of fantasy football news popping up there. So, hey, it's almost time. That's why I'm actually, in all honesty, that's why I'm ending these 15 minutes early, because there's injury news and stuff that might hit. And before I was ending at like 12:05, and it's too late. I missed the early game. So
that happened to me last week.
That's why I started these at 10:45. I just want to go an hour. And here, financials exploded in 2020 and are going to do well going forward. It's funny you say that, because I was actually looking for like regional banks. That's going to be a whole different thing. I'd love to know why, or I'd love to know what regional banks, because I think they have more room to grow than the big banks. But I don't know. That's a whole nother show. And she said JPM didn't pass the test with regulators, so they couldn't increase the dividend. Yeah, I think I remember reading that too, something like that. We'll see. And again, that's another one. I moved the money from Starbucks into JPM, and then I got out at 122 from a call, and I tried to get back in for 2 weeks at like 119, 120, and here we are at 36-ish. So please, Mr. Market, please come down and give me a second chance. That's all I ask. So, all right, man. Well, we did it. We made it to an hour, and it wasn't groundbreaking stuff, but hey, we're made it. So I want to hand it off to you. Where can we find more of you at? Where can we hear more of your stuff?
Sure. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of the podcast providers there. 1 penny at a time. Twitter, 1 penny podcast. I had one of those where I tried it so many different ways it was taken up. Instagram, 1 penny at a time podcast. So not on YouTube yet.
You are on YouTube right now.
I mean, yeah, just
I'm
more
kidding,
focus on the audio side of it. And it's always good just to, you never know who you're gonna meet in this world or who you're gonna impact. That's the fun thing about this. If somebody tells me, hey, I started investing today, I've never saved money, then we did our job.
Beautiful, man. You just got to start, and hopefully not start with Neo. So start with something a little bit more solid than that. But that's what people are here for, dude. Great community. And with that, I'm going to let Pee Wee take us out. And I thank everybody for joining us. And yeah, I will talk to you in the next one.